Hello everyone, my name is Milan Swagers. This is gonna be my first tutorial. We're gonna be taking a look at the flying effect I created for the Monday Challenge flying video I made for the Film Riot Monday Challenge contest. It's quite an easy effect to do, you just gotta know how to shoot it right. Let's get started. So let's take a look at what we're going to be creating. We got this motorcycle guy walking up to two guys fighting, and bam! There I go, through two wooden panels. That's the effect we're gonna try to create. First, let's take a look at how to shoot the footage and what you're going to need. You are going to need the following: a camera, duh, a tripod, something to sit on or make you hover, something to fly through. This could be anything, of course, cars, walls, other people, whatever you want. We had these great wooden wall-like things that really don't serve any purpose other than allowing us to create this cool effect. Then, you're also going to need some software. I'm going to use Adobe After Effects, Photoshop, and Action Essentials. Any other stock footage you might have lying around will do as well. Alright, so let's get started. First off, and probably most important, shoot your footage. This is a crucial step. With crappy footage or shots that aren't properly set up, you have a much harder time achieving the desired effect. Therefore, always think ahead of the effect you're trying to create when you're shooting your footage. Think of how to best shoot it, frame it, get clean plates, all that good stuff. In our case, we shot two different clips, both on a tripod. One of me running into a wall while the other person pretends to kick me. Our second clip is me running into the last wall. Notice the shot hasn't moved and we're still using the tripod. We're going to use this shot from 1 or 2 frames right before I hit the wall. Then we still get all the frames in between me hitting the first wall and me hitting the last wall. For that, we didn't shoot another clip. We shot pictures instead. And we then drew something across about the same trajectory as we would fly, so we could figure out how many frames we needed in between the wooden panels. We had to take 8 pictures between each wooden panel. I sat on the bin, we snapped a picture, moved a few feet back, and we snapped another one. We did this until we had about 16 pictures. That wrapped up our shoot. Let's head over to After Effects and get started with post-production. So here we are in After Effects. First off, we're going to cut the video footage. Let's load in the clip and cut it the way we want. I wanted to start right around here. So let's set the in point here and then move to the point where I hit the wall. Right about here. Let's put the out point. Okay, good. Now, let's duplicate the layer and see where I run out of the shot. So now let's move it over to the point where I hit the wall and use it as a clean plate. There we go. Now let's mask me out at the moment when I hit the wall. There we go. Now at the moment I hit the wall, I disappear. Good. Now let's quickly head over to Photoshop and mask out all the pictures we took. I'm not going to do this perfectly, just a very rough cut. Of course, you can also do this in After Effects or many other programs, but I like to do this in Photoshop. I feel like I have a little bit more control and speed in Photoshop. Also, loading the entire picture in After Effects makes it run a little slower. It's a huge picture. If you did everything correctly, you should now have these flying asset pictures. Now let's head back into After Effects and load in all the pictures we just exported from Photoshop. So the pictures are a little big. On a Canon camera, the pictures are a much higher resolution than the HD video footage we shot. So we have to compensate for that. I select all the pictures and make sure that the background lines up. It comes in handy to have at least one full picture so you can line up the background properly. Then you just remove that picture and all the flying images you have should line up perfectly. You might have to move your pictures around a little bit so you can line them up by looking at the background and make sure they match. Now that we got all the pictures in the proper place, let's make sure they only appear for the frame they are needed in. I head over to the one frame after I hit the first wall and make sure the first picture begins one frame after. Open bracket, close bracket, and to the next frame. So we just do this for the amount of times we got a picture, and there we go. It now appears that I'm flying. Sort of. Okay, we got the beginning now. Let's head over to the end. We are going to cut the other video footage about 2 frames before I hit the wall. Now let's place that footage at the right time. Bam! There we go. I'm flying and hitting the last wall. We now got a good base for our effect. As you can see, the last footage begins, we get some color problems. So let's make a quick mask for that. You're going to need some freeze framing and masking for this, but I won't go into detail. The same goes for the flying picture frames. You see that some colors are a little off. I am sure you can figure out how to clean it up properly. It's as simple as making a mask with the proper amount of feather. Next up is creating the hole your character is going to fly through. In my case, it's some wooden boards. I'm going to save a frame from the moment I hit both of the wooden walls and import these into Photoshop. Now I'm also going to load in a frame in which the characters are not present. That's the frame I'm going to work in, and the other 2 are just so I can see how big the hole has to be. What I did was find some images on the internet, make a rough cut of how big I want the hole, fill in the background with the cone stamp tool, and then cut it out. Cut out some of the wooden debris pictures you found on the internet and fit them around the hole you created. Now color correct them a little bit and generally make your hole look like it fits in the scene. It sounds so wrong when you put it like that though. After you are done with that, make sure you export these 2 layers. One layer with the wooden hole with a transparent background and one with just the little background you created using the stamp tool. Okay, export these 2 images and import them back into After Effects. You also have to do this for the second hole, obviously. Alright, back to After Effects for the last time. Let's load in our holes and make sure they start at the right time. There we go. It's looking pretty good. The guy gets launched and flies through the wooden boards, which leaves a hole. The main struggle for the effect is done. The final few steps are adding your stock footage to make it seem a little bit more real and impactful. Let's not get into the real detail here. Here's the stock footage I added. Some dust as I hit each wall. Some wood splinters as I hit every wall I go through. 2 giant dust clouds as I go through each wall, and a particle stream as I go through the first wall. Of course, you want to make sure everything fits in the scene by color correcting it and make sure there aren't any hard lines where the stock footage potentially gets cut off. Adding this sort of stock footage is just a matter of messing around with it, make sure everything looks okay. And there we go, there's your effect. The final steps would be adding your sound effects to really sell the effect. And there we go. Now that wasn't so difficult, was it? If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below or send me a private message on YouTube. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. If you like more of these tutorials, feel free to send me a message as well. My name was Milan Swagers and thank you for watching.